Look, it's probably recency bias on your part, thinking Volkanovski's the featherweight GOAT, but I just feel like
you don't necessarily have to match them win for win, especially when Aldo got demolished by 3 other featherweights. But hold on, why is it all about championship reign?
Are you going to let me speak, or
That's a
keep
whole
interrupting
different
me?
discussion.
Getting down to the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah. Okay, but once again,
yeah. Are you admitting
with
defeat?
you if you're just
Are you admitting
going
defeat?
to
Listen, man, I'm going to have to agree to disagree, but judging by the comments, I think I won this debate in a landslide. I'm out of here. You guys can catch me on YouTube,
okay,
MMA Prodigy.
You're admitting defeat. You're backing out. You haven't answered a single one of my questions. That's that pipsqueak strength for you.
I gotta knock some sense into these MMA fans, man.
Fedor Emelianenko. Fedor Emelianenko. This ain't Peaches and Creamville.
Peaches and Creamville. Peaches and Creamville.
I'm gonna get him in. MMA Prodigy, the man himself.
What's up, man? Sorry about last time, man. I feel like the number one criteria for being a GOAT, whether it be in just your division or overall in MMA, is title defenses and length of reign. You know what I mean? And look, it's probably recency bias on your part, thinking Volkanovski's the featherweight GOAT, but I just feel like the number 1 and 2 criteria comes down to title defenses and title reign, and I mean that's got to go to Aldo. So, what's your counterpoint?
I would say, what if John Jones beat up 10 hobos in a row? Does that necessarily make him the GOAT because he beat up 10 people in a row? And maybe that's a little bit more than GSP. Maybe GSP just has 9. Jones has 10, and they're all hobos.
So Jose Aldo had a bunch of great title defenses, man. Chad Mendes twice, prime Ricardo Lamas, prime Chan Sung Jung. I mean, Jose Aldo beat
let me just say this.
About a decade before Volkanovski did. Look, you think
Chan Sung Jung in his prime is an absolute joke. All right. Compared to how people paint him out to be, he ain't all that.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was a hell of a lot worse. When he fought Volkanovski. I feel like, again, that's recency bias on your part, thinking Volk has, the better title defenses, which he does, but we gotta take into the fact around the time where Aldo was champion, there weren't as many names. He beat them all. A prime Edgar, Kenny Florian, Mark Hominick. I mean, these were the cream of the crop during his era. You know what I mean?
Sure, absolutely. But let me ask you this. Do you necessarily have to match someone from the past, like win for win, assuming that, like, of course, the game is developing. MMA is so new. It's only been around for like 30 years or so. Why do people have to match, like, as I said, win for win in order to at least get to where someone else is? Because I don't think you need to get win for win with them. I think you need to, like, just beat guys that are better competition and come relatively close.
Look, better competition and just who has the better wins, that all kind of comes down to your opinion. The number one,
I don't think it does.
The number one and number 2 criteria for being a GOAT is title defenses, length of reign. People say Demetrius Johnson had weak title defenses. The flyweight division just, it wasn't popular. He was beating the best of the best. And now that Demetrius isn't champ, we're seeing the title swing so many times. The number 1 and 2 criteria is title defenses, length of reign. That goes to Aldo. What does he have? 7, 8 title defenses, multiple in the UFC. I don't know how many he has in WEC, but title defenses and length of reign, number 1 and 2 criteria.
Okay, but where do you get that as being the number 1 and 2 criteria? Because I don't necessarily think those are the end all be all.
Well, it's definitely a big difference maker. A lot of people are going to think Aldo has the better wins. A lot of people are going to think Volk has the better wins. Facts are Aldo had more title defenses. He had a much longer reign. He beat some pretty good names, but it's a different era, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. Aldo fought in a different era. Volkanovski fought in a different era. But if we're going to sit here and act like, for example, let's say we're talking baseball and you're going to sit here and tell me that Ty Cobb is the GOAT because he's got what? I don't know the stats, but like 3,000 hits. All of a sudden he's the GOAT. He's better than Ohtani. He's better than Mike Trout. Oh, some like basketball player from the 50s is the GOAT. Like, you don't necessarily have to match them win for win, especially when Aldo got demolished by 3 other featherweights. And not only 3 times, but he got demolished 4 times. And I'm sorry that a lot of people don't want to hear that. But there's a reason why his title defense came to an end.
Look,
the reason why his title defense came to an end is because he fought the people that were better than him, and he was in his early 30s. And at the end of the day, if he has 4 losses, okay, on his featherweight record, I have to take that into account. My criteria of who's the GOAT of a division is what did they do in their division? How many losses, how many wins do they have? What's the ratio? What's the level of competition? I feel like you can get a little bit further than just looking at title reign. Like at the end of the day,
you're looking past their prime. You're looking past
at the end of the
prime,
day,
man.
if a champion is fighting bums left and right,
you've gone on way too long.
Hold on. I'm not saying Aldo was fighting bums. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just making an argument to discuss your number 1 and 2 criteria. Let's say you have Jose, and let's say you even diminish the level of competition, and he had 10 title wins over guys that were like fucking Cage Warriors, amateurish competition. Are you going to sit here and tell me
Volk has had, outside of Max Holloway, Volk has had 2 title defenses. Outside of Max Holloway, Volk has had 2 title defenses, and you're looking past this prime.
Hold on. Why is it all about championship reign? That's a whole different discussion. That's a whole different discussion. We're talking about featherweight GOAT. Featherweight, that's about their entire career. I don't think it's just about the title reign. I don't know where you came up with that criteria. That's why I asked you in the beginning. Where do you get this criteria?
Where did I get what criteria? Title defense.
The criteria of being, at the end of the day,
you don't think that's in the criteria for being the GOAT of a division?
It absolutely is a part of it, but it's not another thing is necessarily.
Are you going to let me speak? Seriously, come on, man.
Okay, let's go.
I feel like you're looking past his prime. I mean, when he fought Holloway twice, he was already way past his prime. I mean, what would a prime? Hold on. What would a prime Jose Aldo do to Brian Ortega? What would a prime Jose Aldo do to a past prime Korean Zombie? Because Volkanovski fought Korean Zombie way past his prime. Aldo fought and dominated him in Korean Zombie's prime. You know what I mean? You're looking past his prime. In his prime, 25-1, beat Mendes twice, a prime Ricardo Lamas, a prime Frankie Edgar twice. I mean, Volkanovski, outside of the 2 wins against Max Holloway, which he arguably lost the first fight, he's defended against Brian Ortega and a prime Chan Sung Jung. I mean, I feel like Aldo might have even had the better title defenses now that I'm really getting down to the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah. Okay, but once again,
Are you admitting defeat?
If you're just
are you admitting defeat?
No, I'm not admitting defeat. I'm going to agree with you and then completely shut it down. That's what I'm about to do. I agree with you on the fact that Aldo's title reign was impressive. Volkanovski, again, outside of the Max Holloway title defenses, has beat who? Ortega and the Korean Zombie. And guess what? That Korean Zombie wasn't
What
shit.
would a prime Jose Aldo do against Brian Ortega? I mean, Ortega almost submitted Volkanovski multiple times. Jose Aldo had the best takedown defense, the best.
Sure as hell wouldn't beat him like Volk did. And all I'm going to say is this. Once again, you're not answering the question. Why is it that you're only taking the title reign into account and you're completely erasing the rest of their featherweight careers? It doesn't make sense.
I just went over Aldo's multiple great title defenses. Dude, I don't know.
We know. Yeah, but talk about the rest of his featherweight career.
Sorry, I didn't get that. I didn't catch that last point.
What'd you talk about the rest of his featherweight career?
What do you mean, Aldo? Oh, yeah. But back to my point of you can't look past. Hold on, let me let me speak. You can't look past the prime. You know what I mean? I mean, sorry. What BJ Penn? How many losses did BJ Penn take on his way out? When you're talking about BJ Penn arguably being the lightweight GOAT, you can't. You got to look at his prime, because in his prime, BJ Penn was more skilled than Khabib, but people don't have him as the lightweight GOAT because of the horrible losses he took on the way out. Aldo took a couple losses on the way out. You can't look at that for when you're talking about Aldo being the GOAT. You got to look at him in his prime.
BJ Penn was a gas station clerk by the time he was on his way out. The guy was basically in his 40s. Jose Aldo was in his
Listen,
late
man, I'm
20s
going to
and
have to
early
agree
30s.
to disagree, but judging by the comments, I think I won this debate in a landslide. I'm out of here. You guys can catch me on YouTube, MMA Prodigy.
You're admitting defeat. You're backing out. You haven't answered a single one of my questions. Got it. He just got smoked. I'm just saying he just got absolutely smoked. Didn't want to stick around, just decided to leave. Did not answer a single one of my questions, but anyway, shout out to MMA Prodigy. He, again, just has no ability to actually answer a question in a debate. And his idea of winning a debate is just to talk, and that's it. Lucas, you get smoked. I did not get smoked in that debate. He didn't want to answer my questions. Once again, Jose Aldo, his fans like to diminish what happened after, again, his title reign, and he wasn't out of his prime, straight up. So that's just the facts. People don't want to admit it. I'd love to debate someone else. Someone else take over for him. Someone else take over for him. Because I was just getting started. He did not want to answer the tough questions. Straight up. Right? All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. I'm going to get this guy back in the stream. This MMA Prodigy dude is back. So okay. I think he ran away, but I need to get him right now. So hold on. Let me get him back. Thanks for joining. MMA Prodigy, bro. Answer the question. Why do you only take title defenses into account and not the featherweight career as a whole, where Aldo got smoked 4 times by every single other guy in contention? He got smoked by Alexander Volkanovski in his early 30s. He got smoked by Max Holloway in his early 30s, and he got smoked by Conor McGregor in 13 seconds. I can let that slide if it's Anderson Silva, but not even Anderson Silva at 38 got smoked that badly. So let's hear your answer.
Yeah, so sorry, can you just repeat yourself? I just got my connection to work.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is Aldo got smoked so many times in his early 30s, 4 times. And I said that maybe I could let that slide if we're talking about a 38-year-old Anderson Silva, but not even Anderson got smoked that badly so many times. Anderson was just getting beaten by decision. Okay. He had his little fluke injury. He was stunned like this, and he got caught. Aldo was just getting absolutely humiliated out there. So why do you only take into account the title reign? And I think that I'll just say this. I genuinely think that a lot of Aldo apologists do that, okay? Because they don't want to admit that Aldo got beaten in his prime, and they want to act like he was past his prime. No, his title reign came to an end because he wasn't good enough, okay?
So different fighters hit their primes at different points. For Glover, it was in his late 40s, right? For Kevin Lee, Kevin Lee is past his prime. I mean, he just got knocked out and submitted inside a minute. You picked Kevin Lee to win that fight, and before that, he was struggling against an old Diego Sanchez. So different fighters hit their primes at different points. Aldo's prime was actually in the WEC. When you watch Faber versus Aldo in 2010, that was Aldo's prime, not years later against Conor McGregor. I mean, yeah, that was his first loss. That was his first real loss against Conor McGregor, but he was past his prime at that point. Different fighters passed their prime at different points, and for Aldo, it was in his early 30s. You know what I mean? I mean, the damage he had already been fighting long before that. For Cormier was able to still be competitive with Stipe in his early 40s because, you know, he started his fighting career so late. So,
but you do realize
just
that
a little bit long-winded, but different fighters hit their prime at different points.
Okay, fair enough. I agree. I will agree with this before you bounce and say that I agree with you as a whole. I agree with you.
I'm not going to bounce. I've been answering all your questions. You want to talk about Volkanovski has
hold on,
better title defenses than Aldo.
What you just said, just because you answered it didn't mean that you were correct.
Oh man, I'm sorry, man. You just I'm answering all your questions, and I'm stating facts, but it's just I don't get it.
No,
sorry.
You're stating you're saying some things, but what you're saying that is wrong is that if someone's past their prime, we shouldn't judge them at all. So, for example, Jose Aldo passed his prime. Should we just not count all the wins that he had as well? Like, what about Renato Moicano and Jeremy Stevens? Past his prime, Jose Aldo. We shouldn't look at that at all when we take. Prime. Okay, so his bantamweight career doesn't really mean much.
What's up?
So his bantamweight career doesn't really mean much.
It definitely talks to how good his longevity was, but I don't know. I mean,
what my
nitpicking.
point is, just because you were past your prime does not necessarily mean that all of a sudden we can just completely forget about what you do. No, Max Holloway, you might be able to make the argument is sort of past his prime. He's still as elite as it gets. The guy's championship level caliber. So I'm still going to look at Max Holloway's career when he's taking out a guy like Yair or a young stud like Arnold Allen, and I'm going to count that towards his featherweight legacy. Okay. The only time I don't really care that much is if you're an old man that is completely done. And Aldo wasn't an old man. And you're acting like the man needed a cane. You're acting like, oh, he was past his prime.
So you talked about why don't we fact? Sorry, I'll let you keep going.
A good argument because listen, he might have been a smidge worse.
You're talking about not counting his bantamweight career.
We
don't really count his bantamweight career.
Where do you get the idea that he was past his prime?
We're talking about the featherweight goat.
Where's your proof?
Bantamweight is irrelevant. We're talking about the featherweight goat. Who is the featherweight division?
Shitty performances. You know what I mean? Jose Aldo, after he got beat by Conor, after he got beat by Max Holloway, had a ton of good performances. That to me is a sign that, hold on a second, I don't think this guy is past his prime. Not that much, at least. He's still pretty damn solid. And if a guy is pretty damn solid and not completely over the hill, you're damn right I'm going to count that towards their legacy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And so what I'm trying to say is I don't think that the only thing you should look at or the only thing you should use as an overwhelming argument is your title reign. I feel like
you see what Sonny just said in the comment section. He said, "But it's featherweight goat." I've been trying to say this, but
I understand it's featherweight goat. But hold on. If Jose Aldo were to lose to all those guys and then still go on like a 10-fight win streak, right, in the featherweight division, I understand he would get the belt back, and we'd all be saying he's the goat or whatnot. Let's say he never got the belt back, and he gets like 6 wins in a row, and he starts fighting all the top contenders: Ilia Topuria, Arnold Allen, Yair Rodriguez, and he starts beating them all. And Volkanovski is where he is right now. He beat Max Holloway 3 times. I'd be saying, dude, Aldo's the man. Like, look at all these wins.
I think this will be my final point. I think Volkanovski is on his way to becoming the featherweight GOAT, but just not enough title defenses. There's not enough. You know what I mean? I think I felt like Usman was about to pass GSP and then he loses. So there's just not enough for me at this point to call Volkanovski the featherweight GOAT. Listen, I'm the guy who's saying Jose Aldo right now is still the featherweight GOAT. You're not. I just feel like if you want to be cut and dry, I feel like you're wrong and I'm right.
Okay, but I feel like, again, once Aldo lost to everyone in contention when he was still young and he was still good, so I think that I'm right. But my question to you is, does Volk have to match him?
I'm not going to wave the white flag because I'm not wrong in saying Aldo is still the featherweight GOAT. I feel like Volk is on his path, but there's just not enough title defenses. I don't feel like he's had the better title wins. I mean, you look at his wins outside of Holloway, it's just Ortega and a way past his prime Korean Zombie. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you're just wrong in saying Volk right now
Ortega
is the
actually a decent title defense.
You can say he's on his path to being the featherweight GOAT, but he's not.
No, but I'm just saying that Ortega actually is a good title defense if you're going to compare it to Aldo's. Ortega would fit right in with all of those guys that Aldo fought. Yes, I agree Aldo would beat him, but he'd probably be one of Aldo's toughest tests. I mean, it's true. And hold on. When is Volkanovski going to be, in your mind, someone that can be called the featherweight GOAT? Does he need to match Aldo on title defenses, or does he need to come, 1 fight away, 2 fights away?
So if Volkanovski beats Topuria, starts beating all these guys, beats Movsar Evloev, if he matches Aldo's title defenses, I'll say he's the featherweight GOAT. He doesn't need to pass it, he just needs to match it, because by the time he matches it, he probably will have the better wins and whatnot, because just different eras and the fighters of now are always going to be better than the fighters of the past. Listen, I don't know why the chat is making fun of me and all that. A couple people are saying I'm right, but a majority of the chat is making fun of me. I feel like I'm actually bringing a debate, not just one of these guys that
you are bringing a good debate. I appreciate the debate, and again, I disagree because Aldo got smoked by everyone else in contention, and this is one of the only GOATs that has actually had the privilege, or in our case, the misfortune of fighting the other guys in contention while he's still young. And I just can't say that Aldo is the man when he got smoked by Max and he got smoked by Volk himself. And so, I know Volk is better, and Volk also smoked the guy that smoked him 3 times. And, Volk also has the Chad Mendes win, and Volk has that Ortega win. And the TKZ win is a free win, but at least he beat his ass the way he should have. And I understand what you're saying, but Volk's just so dominant that to me, it's not all about the title wins, because when you have no losses, I'm a ratio guy. I look at the ratio of wins to losses, and there's just more nuances than just, oh, look at his reign. Like, the guy lost 4 times and he got smoked in every single one of those L's. And Max Holloway has 7 losses. Like, I'm going to count your losses in the featherweight division. The only time I just feel like you can't
call Volk the GOAT right now, because he's 25-2 right now. He's about he's about almost where Aldo was before he started falling off. So it's just, Volk is still fighting. We don't know if he's going to lose to Yair. Are you going to call Volk the featherweight GOAT if he loses to Yair?
If he loses to Yair, that ratio is worse, because 10 wins and 1 loss, that's not so great. Aldo at least has 15 wins? Yeah, I mean, like the 10 wins, that loss is going to make Volkanovski's featherweight legacy way worse, because, again, he only has 10 wins compared to the other guys that have more. So I will think twice about it, because in my opinion, he just passed Aldo with the performance over Max. If he had a very close fight with Max last time, I would have said, yeah, Aldo, maybe Volk needs one more. If he loses, I'm going to say no. He's not the featherweight GOAT. Not losing at this point when he's coming off of the Islam win. He got beat by a better guy. He ain't the featherweight GOAT. He finally has that loss. I think Volk has that aura of invincibility right now, and that's another reason why I rate him so highly, because of the dominance. But if Yair goes in there and smokes him, yeah, that 1 loss is going to bring him down for sure, because he doesn't have 20 wins, to deal with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyway, I'm going to get the 9 here. Okay. Shout out to MMA Prodigy. Check his channel out. Just look it up. MMA Prodigy is a good channel as well. So I appreciate the debate. Once again, man,